Hey guys, this is our last video here on writing linear equations, and this particular video is going to be on writing a linear equation when you've been given 2 points. So first up, let's read this equation, or excuse me, this problem, and it says, write the equation of a line that passes through -4, -2, and -3, 5. So the very first thing that we're going to have to do here is find the slope between these 2 points. And the way we find the slope between 2 points is we use our slope formula, which is finding the difference or change in y values divided by our change in x values. And that's just going to give us our ratio here of the vertical change over the horizontal change. So when I go ahead and start by doing this here, if I take my second y value minus my first y value, that's going to be 5 minus a -2, which is the same thing as adding those two numbers. And then my difference in my x values, if I do -3 minus -4, that's really just the same thing as adding +4 here. So when I go through and combine my terms, and if I add these together, 5 plus 2 is going to give me 7, and then -3 plus 4 is just going to give me 1. So what I actually see here is that my slope ends up being 7. 7 over 1 is the same thing as 7. So now that we know my slope, and we knew the 2 points that this line is passing through, I can go through now and actually use my point-slope form. And if you remember, point-slope form is just taking y minus my y value of one of those points I was given, and then I'm going to be setting that equal to my slope times x minus the x value of one of those points I was given. Just be sure to use the same point when plugging in to your x and y values here. And then we know now that my slope is going to be 7, that I'm going to be plugging in for m into this formula. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is take my information and go ahead and just plug it in. So with this form, I'm going to do y minus, and I'm just going to use my first point that I was given, and that was -4, -2. So when I do y minus the y value of -2, that's the same thing as just saying y plus 2, and that's going to equal my slope of 7 times x minus the x value of -4, which really is the same thing as +4. So in this case here, what I'm going to go ahead and do, same as what we did before, is we will distribute my slope. So 7 times x gives me 7x, and then 7 times 4 is going to give me 28, and that is equal to y plus 2. Now remember, for our very last step here, to try and get this in slope-intercept form, we've got to get y by itself. So I'm going to just subtract 2 from both sides, and when I do that, these 2's cancel, and it's just going to leave me with y equals 7x plus 26. And that's the final equation that we've been given. Now a way to double check your work, you could take either of the 2 points that we initially started with, and you could plug the x value in for x here, and plug the y value in for y here, and that would solve it. If we went through and solved that by taking our second point, when x was -3, 7 times -3 would give us -21, and -21 plus 26 would give us a +5, and that was the y value of that coordinate point that we started with. It was -3, 5. So that's just kind of one way for us to go back in and double check your work to make sure that you wrote the correct linear equation. And if you guys need any more assistance with this, just be sure to come see me during tutoring, or give me a shout in class tomorrow.